Welcome back. So, real quick, the last video, uh, I'm sorry. We're learning together though. So, um, let's get started. I want to show you something real quick here. Uh, I have introduced this page. It is a log. You can see here, if we can go into, it's just a markdown document. If we go and look at it though, I think that we need a little more direction. This might help just kind of document what's going on. And I tend to meander. I spent all of last night uh, going down rabbit holes, exploring different ways to test different parts of uh, the router in Express, and it was pretty fun, but way, way, way off topic. And that happens a lot, and that's interesting, and it can lead to learning a lot of fun things. But I'm not sure that just unstructured word vomit and wandering around through fancying, whatever I fancy is really the best way to do this whole video thing. So I want to add a little bit of structure, nothing insane. So here's a log. Basically, I'm going to say it's in reverse order. So each one of these episodes will start with this, and this is what we actually did last time. And regardless of what we thought we were going to do. And this is what we plan to do today. So this is sort of like like an agile sort of stand-up sort of thing. This is what I did yesterday. This is what I plan to do this time. And this will maybe help keep some direction and keep me from just going on and on. So let's start right away. If you did watch the last video, you did not watch the last video because actually it was very easily pinned with copyright infringement because it was a bunch of Iron and Wine blaring over everything. So audio engineer 101, fatal error. I did not check the levels, and there goes 40 minutes of really interesting testing stuff. So I don't know. I might strip the audio and re-upload it so you can at least see it. But then realistically, who's going to watch that? So I have learned not to do that. I had another bump with the some of the music being, I don't know. Anyway, I've decided that yes, while I do this, I normally have music, but I'm also not talking. And what I would suggest is if you want to put on some nice quiet music, you may. You shouldn't have to listen to what I like. Also, I don't want any more of my videos getting ruined or taken offline, so no more music. Hopefully it'll keep me a little more focused too, although it might make me more awkward. Anyway, so aside from that, in the video you missed, we had tests for post and get for our routes, and we decided that they were both kind of partial tests, and so we combined them because if you post, you can't really tell that it was successful unless you go and get the response, and you can't get anything until you post. So we realized we could kind of combine those into one. So as we've been doing that, we noticed that our database is filling up with a bunch of crap from these tests, and that was expected. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can figure out a way to use a separate test database for our tests. And additionally, in the last couple of videos, because we've been poking around in unfamiliar territory with the tests, we've been trying to use console log a lot, and it's been weird. And it's kind of made me feel like I was crazy because sometimes stuff wasn't showing up. Turns out, I did a little bit of research there, and here's a link I guess because this is in the code now, it's included in the repo. If we actually go here, I'm not the only one that saw this. There's actually a very long thread about this. Generally, I don't know. It has something to do with the cleverness of what Jest is doing. As you can see, I took the exact same thing, had different results in different terminals. So just be aware there's an issue there. There are a couple of workarounds, but if you don't see something in the logs, you might not be crazy. So Anyway, now let's go ahead and see about these different modes for databases, right? So to remind us, when we do yarn test, we should see our routes. Okay, it's the way these are working. Oh yeah, you haven't seen this because the last video. So here we combined our stuff, right? Basically, we grab an instance of the app, then we go down here, we use supertest to set this up. We post to items, we send it some stuff, then we verify that it kind of looks the way we expect, and we verify, let's see, yeah, we verify the shape of the response, and then we verify the item within the response. The next part is sort of the get part of it, and there we use another request to get all of the items. Then we look through our response, we check the status or the shape of the response, and then we check for some items, and then we look for our item, and we say, hey, does that item match the item that we saved? If so, that means post worked, get worked, everything's cool. But if we go into our Robo3T, or even, are we running the server? We're not. Yarn dev. If we start the server up, even, we can see, not found. This is our get, right? We can see we got a whole bunch of stuff in there. So every time we test, we're junking this up. So this is the name of our database, i-rate-dev, and inside of our app here, let's see, app. Oh, actually, we still have it in the route. So inside of our routes, this is where we specify the database connection. This is kind of poopy, but basically, what if we had a way to change this? So i-rate-dev, I don't know, test. If we change that, see if we run the, how do we run this again? Keep this in watch mode. Now have it run the test again and refresh all this stuff. We should see that now junk's going over here, right? Okay, that's kind of cool. So now it's easy enough to change this. So what's the best way to do it? Now, let's just start by saying that this is not ideal to have the database connection here. We don't want to over-engineer too soon, but basically, this is a route. This deals only with getting a request, figuring out what code to execute, and then taking the response from that code, putting it back into an HTTP response, and sending it back. The actual code that's the business logic part of it should be separate. This is just the layer of I got a request, who does it go to, and when I send my response back. That's all that should be in here, and we will grow to that part. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. This is not the right place to do this. So check it out. What if we did this? What if we had we have our database, and we can say if we are, is test mode, then we're going to have the i-rate-dev test. Otherwise, the i-rate-dev. All right, let's delete this. Change it to the, goodness, I can't even type right now. Change this to database, change the surrounding quotes to sexy quotes. Now, his test mode is not even defined. So, his test mode equals I don't know, let's just say true, just to be silly. Also, let's go ahead and trash these so we can really see what's happening. Drop them all. Yes. And drop these. Yes. So now we got nothing. Let's run these. This is about the silliest way I can think of to do this, but what the heck. Fresh. So now, yeah, it's going into test, right? And this one is not. Okay, so obviously hard coding this is silly. There's a better way that we could do this, right? And what is that? What if we looked at an environment variable? So let's see, the standard I believe is process and node and test mode equals that, right? So now I assume that's not going to work because this is not set. So now this test that just ran is probably going over to dev. Or nowhere, I don't know. What? Forgot about my friend the log. Console log. Using database. Oh, incidentally, one of the things. Okay. Holy moly, when did this get set? Who the hell? Oh man, sometimes stuff just works out. Okay, it is in test mode. Why is it in test mode? I don't know. Somebody set this. I'm guessing Jest set it. Okay. Wow, is it as easy as that? Let's find out. Okay, now this is yarn dev. This should not be in test mode. This should just be our, dev mode. We have no items here. And now, let's see. Did I save that? I did. See, I'm telling you, that's why you gotta save stuff. It's worth it when you're lazy. So if I post it here, test from the terminal, success. And if I go in here and refresh, okay, so here, right now I'm in dev mode, right? And I'm posting stuff here. And in test mode, we're posting stuff here. So let's go ahead and run a test. Well, it's watch mode. Yay, it's testing. So now we've got another one here. And if I post to my server here that's just running in regular mode, I guess, we should see that here our items are incrementing, or we're adding to these items. So in its most basic way, that works. So let's save it. Git add. So we change the database based on test mode. Change DB for tests. So that's cool. And that was actually really short. Look at that. It's keeping, even with my rambling, keeping this really helps us stay on track. Okay, well, I'm going to keep this short. Let's go ahead. We need an easy version here. So real quick, let's find out why is it in test mode. Does just set process, let's see, does it? Let's see. Let's see, let's see. So check this out. So jest does appear to be setting the environment, the node environment, to test. Let's look. Well, I'll be. Man, I'm talking like an idiot. See, I feel so awkward without the music. Anyway, this is super friggin' interesting. We haven't explored this, but that's really good to know. So yeah, if there is no node environment set, jest is going to set it to test. Therefore, I mean, that's just kind of convention though. But still, that way we can say if it is test, then use this database. This is really wordy and silly, but I think that's all right. I just don't like being out here all junky. Let's clean it up real quick since we got some extra time, right? Let's say get connection string. Somebody teach me how. So this is ugly, but I'm gonna keep it in here because I think that this is noisy and I don't want to see it. So I change this from here to get connection string. So there you go. And as this grows up, excuse me, obviously don't just have test mode. We're going to have test mode, we're going to have dev mode, we're going to have a production mode. So based on these different things, we might have different, well, we'll definitely have different paths, right? And there are going to be more concerns than just am I in dev mode or not. So we're going to need to change the path probably from here to like a hosted server or something. And we're going to have to change not just the path, but the database. So this will grow in complexity. So we're going to just scroll it away so we can already stop worrying about it. Seems like everything's still working. So let's go ahead and get status, get let's see, move connection. Yeah. Connection string. That's like really stupid, but not really useful. Okay, let's push this. And interesting lesson here. I'm gonna remember that. Also, I'm gonna give this guy a cool thumbs up because that is useful. So anyway, there we go. We did it. We finished another one. Wait, I don't need to go here anymore because now I know the shortcut. See you next time, dudes.